I was surprised to see that my last video got over 200 views, which surprises me because I certainly don't know 200 people. So thank you to anyone who's been watching it. I do appreciate it. Basically, unfortunately, I've done my back in quite badly recently, so I'm not going to be going off and doing anything terribly exciting until that gets properly better. It's on the mend, but it's going to be a little while yet. My eldest has been begging me for ages to take him camping. So tonight I'm going to go up to Savernake Forest, which is some ancient woodland that's not too far away from where I live, just overnight with the lads. So I haven't got to carry anything other, particularly heavy, just my sleeping bags and tent, as it's only a quick overnight one and we're not planning on eating while we're there. So hopefully that won't do my back too much damage. But yeah, hopefully in the next couple of weeks I'll be able to go and do something a bit more exciting that's not local to me. But just got to play it by ear really. Alright, here we are. We've not long been dropped off in the middle of Savernake. We're just wandering in a bit deeper and trying to find somewhere a bit out of the way where we can pop a tent up. It's pretty quiet, so hopefully we won't have any problems. Haven't seen anyone on the way in, so most people will have gone by now. We're gonna wander into the woods for a bit and then try and find somewhere away from the paths where we can sneak a tent up. It's a little bit cheeky, but I've camped here before and never had a problem. So, well, here we are. We're in the woods now. The sun is starting to go down, so we're just kind of meandering around now, looking for somewhere a little bit tucked out of the way where we can pop a tent up for the night. Shouldn't take us too long to find somewhere, I don't think. I'm going to try and get somewhere where it's not visible from a path, but to be honest, at this time of the evening I can't imagine there's going to be anyone about anyway, so not too worried about that. I've seen a lot of deer so far. This place is teeming with them. I'll try and hopefully be able to catch some on video at some point, but who knows. Here we are, found a little spot in the woods. As you can see, it's very, very dark. There's the tent. I've brought a tent this time instead of a tarpaulin because I've got my lad with me and a bit more room, and I wasn't sure what the weather was going to be like. Now's probably not the best time to show it off really, so I'll try and get a better video of it in the morning. But yeah, here we are anyway, found a spot. No one around but darkness. I'm expecting the deer to start making loads of noise any minute now, but we'll see. We're just gonna do a bit more tent admin, me and the lad, and then we're gonna sit down and watch a film. So yeah, so far so good. Unfortunately, where I've picked to put my tent is quite thorny. I've realised not long after getting it up, so I've put all my jumpers and stuff underneath my sleeping mat. These inflating sleeping mats are great, but you've got to worry about puncturing it compared to a foam one, which is a bit annoying. But they are so much more comfortable. But yeah, here's the inside of the tent anyway. Not very roomy. It is a two-man, but you're not sharing it with a stranger, that's for sure. But yeah, we're all tucked in for the night. It's really quite warm because we're in the middle of a forest, I suppose. So yeah, that's pretty much it for now, for this evening. In the morning, I'll get some shots, and hopefully before I get picked up, we'll have time to look at some of the really old oaks, and have a little wander around the forest. Anyway, that's that for tonight. The sun's pretty much just come up. Dawn chorus has started. That got me up. You can see the moon's setting over there and behind that tree. Had a good night's kip. I think we both fell asleep before we got through the film, but you always find that outside. I find you just sleep much better, or I certainly do anyway. My lad is still currently asleep. I'm waiting for him to get up. If he doesn't wake up in a bit, I'm gonna have to wake him up myself before people start showing up. After we get up, we're going to go and have a look at some of the older trees in the forest that are marked on the OS map that we're not that far from. I believe the oldest tree in the forest is well over 1,000 years old, which is amazing when you think about it. But yeah, so be on our way in a bit. Probably going to get picked up from here at about 7 by my wife. So yeah, good morning by the looks of it. Looks like it's going to be a nice day. My lad's not that long ago woken up. He's just in there now putting his stuff away. We're going to pack the tent up in a minute. Thought I'd do a quick mention of my tent because I've not used this one yet on any of my videos. It's an Outkit tent. It's a 2-man backpacking tent, but for a backpacking tent it's got a hell of a lot of headroom. It's really nice that, so you can actually sit up and get dressed easily. It's done me well, this tent. It's very, very lightweight. It does feel a little bit flimsy, so you do get a little bit paranoid about how you put it up and stuff, but it's never let me down yet. And it's a really good tent. The main problem with it is that if you want to have the inner, you've got to pitch it inner first. You can pitch it essentially with just a footprint and the fly sheet, but obviously if there's any mosquitoes about, you're not going to have a good time. But yeah, a very good tent in my opinion. I'm glad I got it. I do seem to be moving towards using tarps now, but I can still see myself using this in the summer purely so that I can keep the mosquitoes at bay. But yeah, that's my tent, or one of many of my tents that I don't use that often at the moment since I started using tarpaulins. I've not bothered staking out the guy lines last night or anything because it's dead still and we're in the middle of the woods. But yeah, that's it. We're going to pack everything up and in a minute hopefully get some footage of some of the older oak trees in the forest. Well, I came here to try and have a look at a tree called the king oak, but it looks like I've missed my opportunity judging by that signpost, unfortunately. That's certainly not very king-like, is it? But yeah, I imagine it must have got blown down or something. I don't know if it's anything to do with that lot, but that's a shame. We'll keep on wandering. I think there's another one nearby. I'll see if that one's still intact, hopefully. No lame on this tree, but as you can see, that's a very mature oak. We're getting picked up in a bit, so I haven't got time to go and find some of the other named trees. But yeah, that's one of the bigger ones that is near where we camped anyway. We're going to start wandering towards the car park now. Right, well, we're on our way to the car park, so this pretty much concludes this visit. Definitely recommend coming to Savernake Forest if you're ever in the area. It's one of the few forests that hasn't been ruined by having loads of commercial forestry planted in it, which is always nice. I think there's a few patches of it here and there, but not that many. It's all actually private land. It's owned by some lord, but the Forestry Commission basically do all the maintenance and everything else. Technically it's not public access, but they let you have access all year round. There's one day of the year where they shut the main gates so that people can't turn it into a footpath. I'm not 100% on the legalities of all of that sort of stuff, but yeah, it's a very, very nice piece of ancient woodland. I think it was first recorded by Athelstan in the 10th century, so we know it's at least that old. So yeah, definitely worth a visit. I've had a nice time. It can look a lot nicer if you come here in the sort of spring and the summer and the autumn. It's a little bit barren yet. Spring hasn't quite kicked in, but it's a really, really nice morning. I might come back here again at some point in the spring and summer, but we'll see. There is actually a campsite that's run by the Forestry Commission. I have stayed in that once before, but that was when the kids were a lot younger, where you kind of do need hot water and other things if you can get it. But anyway, that concludes this visit.